Come on in. Come. Come from out of the cold. Welcome to my humble little studio here. Yes, I do have my cats, Toby and Marceline. Toby's the orange one who's hiding, but Marceline is a black cat that you see over there eating, so I hope you don't mind. They won't bother you. Well, I did prepare for your visit. I actually got some tea brewing up for you. It's a lemongrass tea. It's good for detoxing. Yeah, very good for detoxing the system. So, would you like one? Great. Well, we are a tea and bookstore relaxation place, so I'll set that right back for you. Probably give it about 5 or so minutes to steep. It's one of my favorites, yes. Yeah, lemongrass helps detox the body, and if you believe in spiritual witchcraft, which I do, it does help out, rid out of any negative energy in your body. But science-wise, it just helps detox, so you can take it in whatever way you want. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Just wait. Just hold on. It's a little too hot. Yeah. Well, let's get started. I'm so excited that you wanted to talk about books. Yeah, I actually got your list of interests. So you want to go more into the fantasy realm, fantasy, sci-fi. Well, I curated some books for you. One of them is an important book. It's a classic. But you did say you like pictures, like comics, right? Well, I have a mix, and I think that you will like them. So yes, make yourself comfortable. Oh, you tried the tea. Is it good? I'm glad you like the tea. I do have some maple syrup and other sweeteners if you want that. Okay. Great. So, I have, and you said you were ready to read some big works, right? I have this book. It's called The Priory of the Orange Tree. You can see it's around 800 pages. Oh, no. Don't get intimidated. I didn't mean to scare you. It's basically 3 books in one. Yeah. So don't get intimidated. It has dragons. It has magic. It has queens and royal courts. You want it? Okay. I'll read the back for you. The house of Berethnet has ruled Enos for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabrin IX was conceived a daughter to protect her realm from destruction. But assassins are getting closer to her door. Ea Durian is an outsider at court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Ea keeps a watchful eye on Sabrin, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the dark sea, Tane has trained to be a dragon rider since she was a child. but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos arise from their sleep. Now, it took me about a month to read this book, but it is really, really great. One chapter takes place in the West, so with the royal court, think like English royal court in politics, and the East chapters deal with the dragon riders in that land. It's very, very good. I would highly recommend it, and it is a bit of a slow burn. Again, around 800 pages. Yes. Yes. And keeping along the line of fantasy sci-fi, you did mention stuff about space. I found one. Don't worry. It's not 800 pages long. This one is called The Darkness Outside Us. This one is a hard copy, or hardcover, I should say. Very beautiful illustrations. It is around 400 pages. This book actually scared me a lot. It's more like a thriller than anything. Would you like me to read the insert again? Great. I love this cover. Two boys alone in space. After the first settler on Titan trips her distress signal, neither remaining country on Earth can afford to scramble a rescue of its own, and so two sworn enemies are installed in the same spaceship. Ambrose wakes up on the coordinated endeavor with no memory of a launch. There's more that doesn't add up. Evidence indicates strangers have been on board. The ship's operating system is voiced by his mother, and his handsome, brooding shipmate has barricaded himself away. Nothing will stop Ambrose from making his mission succeed, though not when the settler he's rescuing is his own sister. In order to survive the ship's secrets, Ambrose and Kodiak will need to work together and learn to trust one another, especially once they discover that they are up against larger forces than they have ever considered. Love might be the only way to survive. I love this cover. I love the artwork. And yes, if you haven't guessed it, it also is a love story. It is LGBTQIA friendly. It's a really, really great book. They came out with a sequel recently, but this book creeped me out because it's a thriller. It gets in your mind a little bit. Highly, highly recommend. Now this one is a new one in town in honor of Black History Month. It's called So Let Them Burn. Look at this cover. So beautiful. I love the pink swirls. The back is this way too. Around 400 pages again. Less than that. Very beautiful. I'll read this again since you like my inserts, right? There is nothing that Farron won't do for her sister. Farron Vincent can channel the power of the gods. 5 years ago, she used her divine magic to liberate her island from its enemies, the dragon-riding Langlish Empire. But now at 17, Farron is all powered up with no wars to fight. She's a legend to her people and a nuisance to her neighbors. when she's forced to attend an international peace summit, Farron expects that she will perform tricks like a trained pet and then go home. She doesn't expect her older sister, Alara, forming an unprecedented bond with an enemy dragon, or the gods claiming that the only way to break this bond is to kill her sister. As Farron's desperation to find another solution takes her down a dark path, and Alara discovers shocking secrets at the heart of the Langlish Empire, each must make a difficult choice that will shape the other's lives as well as the fate of the world. Now this one I haven't read yet, but it came highly recommended. And as it is Black History Month, as it celebrates Black diversity, the main character is Black, and the author is Camila Cole, who is a Jamaican-American author. And So Let It Burn is her debut novel. Again, a little under 400 pages. I've heard nothing but great reviews on this one. So, kind of like the prior, the Orange Tree, in the sense that they share the dragons. Another fantasy. Now, one of my personal favorites. This is part of a duology. Again, LGBTQIA friendly. From the author of Aidan Thomas, who is a trans Latina author. It's the Sun Bearer Trials. Excuse me. Again, this is a duology. So this is the first one. And around a little over 400 pages. Now, you mentioned in your interest, I love the sound of that. You mentioned in your interests that you like the Hunger Games. And you like gods. Well, this is a mixture of both. And you can see this beautiful cover here. And in the inside, I'll show you, is a map of the world that this story is based on. I'll read the insert again. As each new decade begins, the sun's power must be replenished, so that Sol can keep traveling around the sky and keep the chaotic obsidian gods at bay. Sol selects 10 of the most worthy semi-dioses to compete in the Sun-Bearer trials. The winner carries light and life to all the temples of Reino de Sol. But the loser has the greatest honor of all. They will be sacrificed to Sol, their body melting down to refuel the sunstones, protecting the world for another 10 years. Teo, a 17-year-old jade semidios and the trans sun god of the birds, isn't worried about the trials, at least not for himself. His best friend Nia is a gold semidios and a shoo-in for the trials, and while he trusts her abilities, the odds of becoming the sacrifice is 1 in 10. But then, for the first time in over a century, the impossible happens. Sol chooses not 1, but 2 jade competitors, Teo and Zio, the 13-year-old child of the god of bad luck. Now they must compete in 5 trials against gold opponents, who are more powerful and better trained. Worst of all, Teo's annoyingly handsome ex-best friend, Ariello, is favored to win. Teo's determined to get himself and his friends through the trials unscathed for fame, glory, and survival. One of my absolute favorites. It celebrates very much heavily based on Latin culture. All diverse characters. And if you go on the author's website, they have game trading cards. you mentioned that you like something a little bit more classic, but in comic book form. How interesting. How interesting. Well, here's a classic novel, but in a comic book form. But it is a heavy read. Important, but heavy. Are you ready? Parable of the Sower. By Octavia Butler. A classic and a must read. But since you requested it to be in a comic book form, these pages are all in comic book form. I love the artwork. And sometimes when it comes to heavier books, in terms of this content, sometimes this engages readers. I love the sound of paper, in the sense comic paper. A little under 300 pages for this. I do recommend you get the actual book, but since you made this special, unique request, I actually specially ordered this for you. And the artwork is incredible. In the year 2024, the United States teeters on the edge of madness. The country is marred by the unattended environmental disasters, economic crises, and social chaos. 15-year-old Lauren Alamina, a preacher's daughter living in Los Angeles, is protected from danger by the walls of her gated community. However, her world is feared by fear. Her world is ruled by fear, and she is afflicted with hyper-empathy. She feels the physical pain of those around her as if it was her own. On top of everything, in opposition to her father's Baptist preaching, she's developing her own religion, Earthseed. When her gated community is destroyed and her family murdered, Lauren travels north to try and find safety and to spread her new system of belief with these founding words. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is chance. God is change. Very powerful read. So, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different books, different lengths. Have you picked a book or two that you would like to? That one? Okay. Would you like another one to add to? You can add them all if you'd like. So you want that one? Okay. Well, renting is free. Would you like to rent or purchase? Rent. Sorry, that was my air freshener. Rent one and purchase one, or? Sure, we can do that. I'll add that to your invoice. Would you like me to wrap them up? Of course I can wrap them up. Yes, we have a wonderful porch that's open right now. The sun is shining through. If you want to make yourself comfortable, and I see that your tea is gone, you liked it? Yes, I can make you another cup of tea. Would you like to order some food as well? We have homemade sandwiches. I can give you a menu if you... Yeah, well, of course. Well, I'll wrap up these books for you. Take a seat out on our porch. I'll grab some tea and I'll grab a menu for you. Of course. I'm really excited to see what you think of these. Great selections, by the way. Great picks. Okay, well, I'll see you out on the porch.